Good morning, everybody. My name is Dee. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back if you have already been a part of my journey. Today, I'm going to be doing a recreation of the Lip Smacking Nails and Pretty Epita September giveaway. These are going to be my official submissions. And I just want to kind of introduce myself and kind of just show you that I am an artist, and this is going to be my attempt. I'm going to be starting out with a 2XL squared Gel X tip for the Cherry Blossom Gardens, and then I'm going to be using a 3XL stiletto for the other design that is on the thumbnail. I'm going to be using 2 of the Miss Cheering 2XL squares for the designs that I'm going to be attempting to recreate today. I will be starting off with a white base for one of them. Okay, the white base coat color is actually from the Bofu, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not certain, but that's the base color that I'm going to be applying, is white on this one. Here you see me trying to get rid of all of the floofs that are on top of the nail plate, and then I was having trouble with this magnet sticking to the base of the jewel, so I just put a sticky tab on there and that helped. And just trying to, and keep on getting all these fluff balls. I don't even know where they're coming from. And at some point I think I decide to just take it all off and start over. I did not prep these nails. There was no base, so if you were going to be wearing these, then you would want to put a primer and a base coat down so that the polish design will adhere properly. And just make sure it's got a nice full coverage, because I think I do only go in with one coat, and then off camera I just wiped it off and decided to redo it. For the next one, I'm going to be using a light jelly gray that I got from a Shege collection with a Tiffany blue, but this is just the ash gray, and I'm going to be mixing it with a little bit of milky white because I do want a little more opacity to it and to kind of lighten the color a little. And here you see me mixing it with my dotting tool. I did speed it up a little bit because this video did run in almost 2 hours. And I'm just going to apply it with this nail art brush that I got in a cheap Temu set. It's nothing spectacular. It's just to apply the base coat on it. And I will let you watch me apply all the bases. Add a little bit of music for the sound, and then once I go in with the design, I will come back and explain a little more. For the 3XL stiletto, I am going to be applying a pearl white, and the shade is 01 in Shay's Scepter bottle collection. I'm just going to put a nice even thin coat. Use 2 coats on this one, and I'm just applying the base colors for all 3 nails, and I'm just going to kind of keep going back and forth with the nail design. I'm trying to get this done as quickly as possible. This did end up taking me about 2.5 hours to complete all 3 nails, but I think at the end it was well worth it because they came out beautiful. And this is just me just cleaning up my area, making sure I don't get any gel on anything else, and getting prepared. I'm bringing out my isopropyl alcohol. This is 91%. And then my brushes. As you can see, I'm using my new candy box that I got from Miss Katie, and this is the second coat for the 3XL stiletto. I had a lot of fun with this set. It really brought out my confidence once I seen the finished result. This is a trust the process project here for sure. And okay, folks, this is the one that's going to be the most intricate. So for this one, I'm going to go in with my 4mm detailing brush. I'm going to go in with this jar of painting gel. It's just a Rizzle. I found this on Shein. And I'm just going to scoop out a little nice amount put it onto my palette. Clean off this brush real fast. Okay, so I'm going to first start with trying to create the top of the garden monk cabana thing. Just first starting with the point, and then I realize I don't like the way that's coming out. I'll just remove that and start over. Just use my cleanup brush here and just wipe that off with some isopropyl alcohol. Make sure all of the residue is off, and then go in again. And I'm just going to start with a very tip and bring it down a little bit, and now we'll swoop down. And I'm just using the very tip of my brush to get the finest line possible. Now I'm going to go in on the bottom to try to create the top of the structure, and I'm going to kind of curve it around a little just to give it a more dimensional look. And just make it look like an actual structure in the distance. I am gonna double line this because in the reference photo I noticed that it was like a monk, like an actual garden structure. So here I'm just putting in the base. I don't even know what they're called, but now I'm going in with the second layer, which will be a little more wider, and I think I go a little too far out, so I'm going to clean that up, shorten it up a little bit to give it a more symmetrical look. And then just make the 4 little lines and make it look like a pole to make it look like a 3-leveled structure. So that's the idea here. That's the look I'm trying to go for. And then here I am just doing the second line for the floor, I think. Then I'll be doing the same process I did for the second tier, for the third tier, except this time I'm going to bring the bottom line curved up, and I'm gonna just curve it up a little bit. And here you see I go out too far, so I'll clean that up in just a second, but I got that second one perfect. So I'm just gonna take that off and redo it. Now remember, you guys, it's not perfect your first time trying a design that you're not comfortable with. So just remember, take your time. You can always redo it. That's the lovely thing about working with gel polish, is that it's not set in stone until you put it in the lamp. Now just adding that extra structure, putting that top layer there, and then I'm gonna kind of curve it down to make it look like it is standing in the background. I'm just gonna clean that up again. Then here I am starting to attempt to do the cherry blossom branches. This is definitely a trust the process design, and it definitely has to be done in layers in order to achieve the effect and the look that you are trying to get. So I just decided to go back to making that temple, bring down the lines just to give me a little more idea as far as like my aspect ratio. And then I go in and to try to apply the branches, and then I just shake my detailer brush back and forth to give it a more branchy look. And I'm going to take that off, as I'm not liking that either. Then I decide from here I'm just going to clean it up and stick it in the lamp. Take that down a little bit. I like the way that looks, so I'm going to cure that, and then I'm going to start working on the second design. And for this I decide to mix the brown padding gel and black. But first I'm going to go in with a little bit of padding gel and just blend that in on my palette. And this is going to go on the stiletto. Sorry, I'm mixed up. So this one I'm just decided to do the ombre on this one. It's Sorry, I thought I was going to go in with the other design, but I decided just to put the ombre. And I like the way this ombre effect looks over the pearl because it is translucent on the first layer. So it may look like silvery, which was beautiful. Now that I got the first one out, I'm just adding a little more of that painting gel, and I'm going to start and go in with my details on the clouds like effect, the shading, and then just add those in there. You see, I do mix it with the mixture that I used for the base coat on the other design, which is going to be the cherry blossom tree, just to kind of lighten up that black. I didn't want a full black effect. I did want it a little more shaded to give it like a gray wash effect. And then I'm bringing it in a little closer to the structure. But here you see me going in to try to recreate those branches again. That's going to be the base of my cherry blossoms. And I will let you guys watch me complete this one. It is a really fun way to explore your talent and to really get the feel of micro painting. I'm going to add a little music so you can enjoy watching how I go about this with trial and error. But first, I do want to let you know that I'm adding in like a rock here. I decided I wanted to do a little rock as if it were like up in the mountain and just create a boulder. So I'll let you go ahead and watch, see how I do. Let me know what you think. If I did well, please let me know in the comments. If you think there's something that I missed, I also am open to any suggestions. But this is my submission, so this is my my interpretation. And thanks for watching. Started on the next now. I'm just going in with some padding gel for the clouds, adding a little more gray to kind of soften the edges a little. Here I decided to mix brownish, like a darkish green, with black. You'll see here in a moment. And just add a dot of black to just darken it up. And yes, I'm happy with the shade that it turns out to be. And just start with some abstract lines with my detailer brush. And these are going to be my branches. I'm gonna add some more music for you guys. Hopefully you guys follow along. Hopefully you enjoy this video, and I will see you next time. Okay, now getting the top coat on the first nail. And now at this point I'm feeling pretty confident and am really satisfied with the way that looks. And now I'm gonna go and put a little more details into the mountain area on this cherry blossom nail. Add a little more shading, a little more depth. And I'm just going in with my 4mm detailing brush. I could not believe how pretty that all three of these designs came out. They came out so pretty. And I'm just gonna blend that out with my sponge here in a second. But I just wanted to give it that layered dimensional look. Kind of fill in, give some product on there for me to blend down. And I just ombre it down. And there's the first one done. I'm so happy and I'm really excited about this. Alright, going in with the top coat on the second nail. Almost completed with my entry. At this point, I can start to see a light at the end of the tunnel. And now I'm going in with the third design with a cat eye as a French tip over the pearlescent base. I'm adding a touch of the ash gray. Gonna mix that up and apply it as a French tip. And there's me just marking how deep I want the smile line to go on the tip. For this one, I'm using a 20mm liner brush. And just bringing it down on both ends. Gonna fill it in a little bit and then bring out the magnetic components, and I will let you listen to some music while you watch me complete this design here, and I will be back before the completion of the video. the 3D effect, I'm going in with my LGN Pro No Wipe Rhinestone Gel and just putting it and letting it build up on the tip, setting it down, making sure I got a nice round circle, and then just slightly bringing it down, and then I'll clean up the end a little bit here. Sorry I'm out of the camera. I had to kind of take a look at it a little closer. And then just gathering up a nice little glob at the tip of my brush. Now I use this brush for my rhinestone glue because it's a brush I really don't care about, and it's just used specifically for the rhinestone gel. And then this is the second glop. It's a little bigger of a glop. And I'm setting it in the corner on this side, right above the other one I just did. And then I'm just going to kind of let that settle and then pull it down, drag it down a little farther in. And then whatever excess, I'll just clean it up. Try to bring it up into more of a little higher of an apex. And I decided to wipe that off and start over. Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't. This is me going in on the other side. I'm doing the same thing I did for that one, and then just bringing it down. And I'll let you guys watch here how I do this. This was an intimidating 3D effect for me because I have not done it too many times. I think I did it like one other time for myself. But now that I kind of got the hang of it, it's become much easier for me to be able to get like an even effect. I know this design was really popular for the seashell nails during summertime, but I never actually did that. And if you see, I'm showing you the amount of product that I'm actually putting on the tip of the brush. And then I'll just let that settle. And just lining it up, making sure I have it symmetrical. And at this point, I'm holding my breath. Now that I have both sides equal, I'm excited. I'm putting that in the lamp, letting that cure for 60 seconds, putting that away. Then I'll add my charm. And instead of putting the silver 3D effect on top of the star, I think I'm going to go in with a rhinestone on the cuticle area. This is just me using whatever residual gel that is on the brush to apply the charm, because I don't want it to be gloppy. I want it to be just enough where it's not going to seep out of the sides. Okay, everybody, I am back. This is my submission. I really hope you enjoyed watching me create these. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.